The unseen law. What goes around, comes around. In the grand scheme of life, it often seems that everything eventually boils down to one truth. What goes around, comes around. We reap what we sow. It may sound simple, even cliché, but it holds profound weight. Do good, and good eventually returns. Do evil, and the consequences come back around. It is not merely a moral lesson, but perhaps a universal law, one that governs the outcomes of nations, communities, and individual lives alike. This principle can be difficult to grasp in a world that often seems chaotic and unjust. But look closer, and you'll see patterns. You'll see cycles. You'll see how, in time, our actions catch up to us. Whether you view this through a spiritual lens or not, the result is the same. Some may call it karma, others call it divine justice. But perhaps, like gravity or thermodynamics, it is simply a law, an observable truth. We accept the laws of physics, biology, and quantum science, not necessarily because we understand them in their entirety, but because they are consistent. We see their results. We live by them. And so it is with this law of moral cause and effect. We may not understand why it works. We may not know the mechanics behind the sowing and reaping. But we've seen the fruit of it time and time again across generations, across cultures, across history. As a nation, America has long walked this tightrope. On one hand, we have engaged in undeniable evil, from the genocide of Native Americans to the enslavement of Africans and mistreatment of countless immigrant groups. Yet, we have also been generous. We've fed the poor, aided disaster-stricken nations, and extended a hand to the vulnerable. These two conflicting forces, evil and charity, have put us in a holding pattern. We haven't fallen completely into ruin, but neither have we flourished into the kind of righteousness we boast about. But times are shifting. We are living in a moment where moral erosion is no longer creeping. It's galloping. The political arena has become a breeding ground for deceit, manipulation, and vengeance. Truth has taken a back seat to tribalism. Winning is the only virtue. Many have adopted the strategy of supporting lies and corrupt leaders simply because they promise a win. This mindset has infected our populace to the point where evil no longer feels wrong. It feels strategic. This corruption is costing us more than we know. On the world stage, our alliances matter. When we choose to align ourselves with injustice and aggression, whether under the guise of friendship, religion, or military strategy, we inherit the consequences. We become participants in their reaping. Consider our involvement with Israel's ongoing conflicts. For decades, we've watched the oppression of Palestinians. We've witnessed blatant human rights violations. And yet, we remain silent, even supportive. When Israel recently bombed Iran, a sovereign nation, it was an act of aggression. Iran responded as any nation would, and we, rather than calling for peace, joined in the aggression. This isn't about political preference or which side of the aisle you stand on. This is about the long-term consequences of choosing to participate in what is wrong just because we've convinced ourselves it serves our national interest. If history teaches us anything, it's that empires fall not just from external enemies, but from internal decay, moral decay. We must ask ourselves what kind of legacy we are building. Are we sowing peace? Are we sowing honesty? Are we sowing compassion? Or are we sowing hatred, lies, and violence disguised as patriotism? Interpretation. There is a timeless and universal principle of moral reciprocity. What you give out will return to you. This isn't only a spiritual or philosophical belief. It is observable in personal, societal, and even global outcomes. Whether it's called karma, sowing and reaping, or poetic justice, the message is clear. Your choices matter and consequences are inevitable. Analysis. We live in a society where short-term gain often trumps long-term integrity. From politics to business to personal lives, we often justify dishonesty or apathy as necessary. But this chapter challenges that mindset by holding up a mirror. It confronts the reader with historical, societal, and personal consequences of ignoring the moral laws of the universe. If nations can fall into decay through their unchecked actions, so can individuals. Life application. This isn't just a national problem, it's a personal one. You must reflect on your actions. Are you planting seeds of peace, honesty, and growth? Or are you tolerating harmful behaviors because they're easier, more popular, or seemingly beneficial? You have the power to sow new seeds, ones that will yield good fruit. Start today. Speak truthfully. Act justly. Be generous. Because what you do today will echo back to you tomorrow. Self-assessment questions. 1. What am I currently sowing in my daily life? through my words, my relationships, and my decisions? 2. Are there areas where I've knowingly compromised my integrity for convenience or approval? 3. Have I participated in or tolerated injustice because it benefited me? 4. What would it look like for me to live with the belief that every action has a consequence? 5. How can I begin to plant better seeds, seeds of healing, of wisdom, of lasting peace, in my own life and in my community? Let this be a turning point. Choose today to sow good things, because what you plant now, you will live with later.